Why is Israel army so powerful?
Israel does not have world's biggest army, but it is most effective. Think about it. Yet they have a population of around 9 million people. They have fought and confronted countries which are 10 times bigger than them. For example, during the 6 Days War, they confronted a coalition of countries like Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. Those countries put together have a total of 130 million people, and they sent a total of 240,000 soldiers, which is more than half that of Israel. In this situation, no one would expect victory for Israel, but it was rather a different story.
Can you elaborate this more?
Wait, before I elaborate this more, this to let you know that this information is powered by Zula app.
What is Zula app?
Zula app is a social security app that enables users to register their serialized items like electronics, documents, and vehicles by keeping them safe in the app. In the event that those items are lost or stolen, you can therefore navigate through the app and report from safe to lost or stolen. You can find more about Zula app on their website, zula.co, and also you can download the Zula app on Play Store and App Store.
Back to Israel. Can you elaborate more?
Yes, during this 6 Days War, Israel Defense Forces had no modern weaponry and technology, yet they wiped out their enemies. For example, in the 1973 Yom Kippur War, Israel's weaponry was as modern as that one of Syria. In 1950, Israel had the famous combat jet, the Air Force Skyhawk, while Syria had the state-of-the-art anti-aircraft missile, which was used by Soviet Union just 5 years before.
Is Israel the sport of America?
Maybe yes, because Israel receives the support from USA. But also remember, Saudi Arabia also buys best weaponry from USA. Saudi Arabian army is big and modern, just like that one of Israel. The problem is that Saudi Arabian army spends most of the time fighting warriors like the Houthi rebels from Yemen. Neither technology or American support can explain why Israeli army is feared.
Okay. What are the key elements explaining such success in Israeli army?
Unlike other armies, the Israeli army are fast in decision making. For example, when you look at the Saudi Arabian army, most officials in that army, they cannot make final decisions. Same goes to other Arab countries like Syria and Egypt.
Elaborate more.
For example, the Syrian soldiers in the front line, when they realize that their headquarters has been attacked, they have no capacity to make quick decisions. They have to wait for an order from behind. So at that point, they don't know whether to attack, retreat, or coordinate with other military units. Most Arab armies are centralized because most of these countries come from absolute monarchs and dictatorships. This arrangement is so important to them because it helps to prevent coup d'etats.
What about Israel?
Israel is way different from what I've just said. When they are on the front line and something terrible is happening ahead, those ones in the front line have a degree of quick decision making. This is also done in most Western armies, whereby the planning is centralized, but the execution is decentralized. This kind of organization is more flexible. Israeli citizens are the most educated in flexibility than any other nation in the world.
How is Israel militarized?
Military service in Israel is mandatory. Men, women, poor, rich start from the bottom, apart from the ultra-Orthodox and the Palestinian Israelis. It is from such grounds that you can win ranks in the army. In Israel, to join the military, you must begin from peasant bottom upwards. Unlike in Saudi Arabia, to join the army, you must be a civil servant or a member of the royal family. That demoralizes the army.
How courageous is Israel army?
Israel army is very courageous. For example, in 1973, they fought two nations at a go. That is Syrian army and Egyptian army. But at that time, Syrian army had anti-aircraft missiles which destroyed Israel completely. Israel had to retreat. And that is when USA had to come in with the backup. At this time, Israel had to strike back. They overran Syria's defense system and neutralized them. At this time, Syrian and Egypt forces fearing to be wiped out, they had to defect and surrender.
Does this mean that some armies are missing something here?
Yes, if you are an American or Israeli soldier, you must be loyal to your country. Unlike the Arab armies, for example, the Syrian army, you find someone is a Syrian army, at the same time a member of Muslim Brotherhood or a member of Kurd. So in case of any mishaps, you find this soldier defects to another camp. This demoralizes the national army.
How has Israel used its human capital in the military?
Look, if you look at the tanks, for example, the German Leopard and the Russian T-90, the engine is at the back rather than front. They did this in case of a missile attack from front. The tank will keep going. But the Israeli came up with a Merkava tank with the engine in front. They did this because in case of a missile from front, their soldier will still remain. They did this because they have a small population and they never wanted to lose many soldiers. The Israeli army always go for intense training with live bullets, with better equipment, and also they have the best martial arts in the world. And also what you should remember is that Israel has the best intelligence system in the world, the Mossad.
Is that all?
No, that's not all. The Israelis made a secret weapon called the Pera. It looked like a tank, but it was a tank destroyer. It could destroy a tank from as far as 30 kilometers away. They made many other weapons like the Iron Dome defense systems, which we shall discuss in our next YouTube video. Though Israel as an army has its weaknesses, which we shall discuss in our next YouTube video.